What's up, bros? My name's Ian, and this is Road to Advanced, where I try to become an advanced lifter the best way I know how, horsing heavy weights. So, today, I kind of want to talk about why there's so much dogma in lifting, how I'm cutting, and kind of the mechanics of my program. I got a question for you first, though. If you're scrolling online, right, and you see, I don't know, somebody on Instagram, let's say, and they're promoting their brand new program. It's a one size fits all solution to whatever your goals are. Sounds pretty great, right? And it could be free or like whatever. Now, would you follow that program blindly, or would you actually look into it and see if it really is the right fit for you? Well, it kind of depends on who you are and what your goals are. But nowadays, I think that there is a lot of dogma and rigidity when it comes to, I don't know, working out. I mean, you have the science based optimal bros and then the kind of power lifter style starting strength 5x5s that Matt Winning applies himself to. And then you have the West Side. Like, it's a whole bunch. And the thing is they all think they're right. They think that their program, their style of training is a one size fits all solution to basically anyone's goals. So you could have like hypertrophy goals, like you just want to get as big as possible. And then you go look that up online, and then you find this Reddit post. Reddit is a horrible source for fitness information. I have no idea why, but every time I look on there, it's just always promoting some dogma. I have no clue why, but yeah, you're just trying to get as big as possible, and you go on there. You're like, hey, I'm wondering what I should do, and then someone gives you the starting strength program. Now, for those of you who don't know what that program is, you basically just have days where you do 5 sets of 5 reps on bench, 5 sets of 5 reps on squats, and then 5 on 5 on deadlifts. And then there's probably some rows and overhead pressing in there, if I'm not mistaken, for starting strength. But if you've trained before, you will automatically see the issue with that program. There is no isolation. There are no accessories. There's basically no arm work. That program is basically just built for people who want to lift heavy weights in those movements. And that's pretty much it. That's all that program is built for. But the thing is that a lot of people apply it to a huge number of problems. So someone just starting out wanting to get big, they use starting strength. They're not going to get as big as they can. They'll get bigger, but they won't have that aesthetic, lean, muscular physique that they were chasing. They're just going to build up a lot of you can't make a muscle dense, but I don't know. You're just going to build up a lot of goat muscle. I mean, you can lift a lot of weights, but if that's not something you want to do, then you're kind of just wasting time, which is what I see a lot of. I see a lot of people just stuck at one place, and it's because they're not actually looking at their training and saying, hey, if I want to get bigger, I probably should train to get bigger. But I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I feel like social media has kind of diluted this whole thing, and everyone wants to be right. They want to find the 100% right thing. But I don't think that lifting is really like that. I mean, there are so many things that work for so many different people, and you just kind of have to figure out what works for you. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm following someone else's program, but kind of tweaking it to what works for me and what my goals are, which is getting insanely lean, jacked, lifting a lot of weights. You know the deal. Anyways, Moving on to cutting. Right now, I'm only eating around 18 to 2300 calories per day, depending on my activity. Like if it's a rest day, I'm not really that hungry during the day. So I'll just make sure I'm hitting my macros and whatever, Right now, I'm eating around 180 grams of protein, around 270 grams of carbs, and around 60 grams of fat. I that's roughly what it is. And I have a little cheat code, right? I work at Chipotle, so I just get free Chipotle. It's a dieting hack. I can just eat chicken and rice all day for free, as much as I want. Not as much as I want, but it's pretty close to that. I can just load my bullet with chicken and go home and eat it. It's that easy. But when I'm not eating Chipotle, I'm probably eating oatmeal, protein powder, fruits, veggies, chicken and rice, tilapia, the basic bodybuilder stuff. Since I'm on a cut right now, I don't really have a lot of room for any treats and stuff, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of just sticking to the bare bones basics. And you might be wondering, well, Ian, just eating chicken and rice all day, that's not going to make you feel good. And you're right. It's not. It's lacking a lot of micronutrients, which, you can just supplement a multivitamin and some magnesium, which is what I've started doing now. And honestly, it's helped a lot. It's the icing on the cake, and it just makes you feel great. And you can just not worry about what you're eating too much. I still do want to get most of my macronutrients holistically, but sometimes it's just not an option when you have limited resources. But that's about it for cutting. Not too much there. When I'm bulking, I'll get more into that, but right now, just focusing on keeping my calories low and eating clean. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Moving on to the mechanics of my program. Most of my progress metrics are following a linear periodization scheme, which basically means that there's 3 blocks over the course of 12 weeks. So 3 different months, basically, where the first month is focused mainly on work capacity. You're doing really high reps, pretty low weight, enough to where you can get around 12 to 15 out. Oh my God, that alarm. Anyways, you can get around 12 to 15 out. And you're mainly just focused on building up a lot of skill during the movements, focused on form and just building up a lot of work capacity, because work capacity is very underrated in the lifting community, I feel. To put it this way, imagine you had to go on a road trip and you had a car that only could go 100 miles per tank, but there was a stop during the trip where the next gas station was 200 miles away. You just couldn't complete the trip. You're not going to get to the gas station by going faster or going a different route. It's 200 miles away. There's no way around it, and you can only go 100 miles. The only way you can solve that problem is by getting a 200 mile per gallon 200 mile gas tank, however that works. The same thing is basically applied to lifting, where you can be at a certain weight for a certain amount of reps for forever. Honestly, there's been a bunch of times where I've just plateaued at like a weight for 6 to 8 reps and I just can't move away from it. But I've broken out of it by just lowering the weight, focusing on my work capacity, making sure I'm getting good form and good skill in the movement. And guess what? When I'm back up at that weight, it feels easy and I can just keep progressing. Think of it kind of like a battering ram, the linear periodization. You're starting off way in the back, and then slowly over time, you're going to crash into that plateau just basically as hard as you can. And it just leads to just crushing PRs from block to block. I realized I kind of skipped over the last 2 blocks of the program. The one in the middle is pretty much just focused on hypertrophy in that 8 to 10 rep range. It's a very productive, time to be at. You're getting a lot of growth in that because you're reaping the rewards of that work capacity that you put in, but you're also just lifting heavier weights. So you're going more. And that last week is mainly just focused on strength. So you're mainly just in that 5 to 7 rep range, going as hard as possible. But that's about it. I'll see you guys next week.